Cosmic here, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another Fusion World starter unboxing for you, as well as a meta list at the end, which we will cover briefly. So if you missed the other video, or if you missed my 2024 highlight video, I just want to celebrate some games that are coming out this year because I either think they're really great or they are doing something neat, and for Fusion World, it is a little bit of both. There is going to be a digital client, which the open beta was awesome, and I'm really looking forward to the full launch later this month on the 29th. So we are going to get right into it. We've already covered FS01, or the Goku starter deck on the channel. Check that out as well. And really quickly, just going to show off the box here. Again, it has a leader on the side, which is really cool. And the one thing I'll also mention is each starter deck has a pack in it, which can have one of 7 cards fully foiled and just look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I have those pulled to the side. I already did open it because, well, I just couldn't wait. I want to see what I got, and I will showcase those again towards the end once we go through all the cards, just to make sure you can kind of see the very clear side-by-side comparison. So there would be a pack back here. Already ripped it. You have your playmat. If you're a TCG veteran, you don't need to see those anymore. We've seen them a billion times. And of course, we have the pack itself. So give me a quick second to wrap this up, or unwrap this up, I should say. And wow, first try. This one actually went a lot better to open. And again, we will have a code at the back, which I'm not going to show you. This is my starter deck code, but there is a code card at the back of each one of these. So that is very important to have for your digital client as well. You will redeem that in the digital client. We don't know how yet because it wasn't in the open beta. It wasn't needed in the open beta, but there you have it. There's also an energy marker. If you've seen one of these videos already, you know this is basically the coin from Hearthstone, so I'm not going to spend time going over that. And with that out of the way, let's get into the deck itself. Let's talk about the leader. So again, I'm going to expect that a lot of people either are new to this or don't have a quick view of what Dragon Ball is or how it plays out. So I'm going to cover some of this at a very high, very quick level. But of course, go check out some of the how to play videos if you want to learn a little bit more in depth of how the game's going to go, or wait for the digital client because it'll have a tutorial as well. So like One Piece, you have a leader, and this is going to define what goes into your deck. Each leader will have 2 sides. You have your pre-awakened side and then your awakened side, which is, whoa, all foily, really cool. Again, I already recorded one video, so I know the text string doesn't show up, which makes me really upset, but there you have Vegeta on his other side. So you start with 8 life. Once you go down to 4 life, or 4 or less, you can awaken. You're going to gain 5,000 power as a boost, and then all the leaders will have a special effect on their awakening side. Like One Piece, this is going to be color locked, so whatever color you are, in this case, this is just blue. Everything in set 1 and the starter decks is single color, so do keep that in mind, but you will be locked to just then blue cards in this Vegeta deck. But if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card gets 15,000 power for the turn. So this is really important. Blue's gimmick is, and I probably should cover this more in red with a more controlling nature, but blue does have a gimmick about controlling your hand size for some type of added benefit. Now, because in this game you can combo from hand both offensively and defensively, it is extremely easy to make sure that you're keeping on this condition. It just comes down to how much are you willing to give up to get that effect. So all the leaders, at least that we have for the majority of set 1, are going to be that in 15 and then 20, and then Broly has a small exception, which we will talk about later. So getting into it are SRs. So if you are new to Bandai Games, or maybe you just know already, yes, I am going to confirm that you need to buy 2 of each starter. Especially with the SRs, we are only getting 2 of each. But up first, we have Gotenks. With Unplay, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, add up to 1 Son Goten and up to 1 Trunks Youth, both with cost 2 or less, from your drop to your hand. So you are going to see a lot of this naming matters, or family type or archetype matters, both in the starter decks as well as into the main set categories. But this is just a great way to get back a couple cards that can be really key from your trash. And of course, that could be for free combo effects. That can be for various replay effects. And then also from a future design standpoint, right, that we also then have to keep in mind, like, what cards fill this condition and are they an upgrade? So we get 2 of those. And then, of course, what's a Vegeta deck without a Vegeta? With a double strike, and on play, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. They cost 4 or less and place it at the bottom of their owner's deck. So those that enjoy White from Battle Spirits Saga, or some of the other decks that have a lot of bouncing effects that we've seen previously in other Bandai card games, you are going to be right at home with Blue. Blue has a lot of either just bounce to hand or bounce to bottom of the deck, but I mean, whew, this is a very strong card. It can definitely hit some key stuff off the board when you need it to. And the fact that it's just an on play and it's a 35k, so then you can freely swing into something else, like Vegeta comes down and is going to remove 2 cards, right? That's just how it is. That's just how good he is. So again, you get 2 of those in the box as well. So definitely going to want to pick up a set. As I mentioned in the other video, and as a really quick reminder, you'll notice that these have 0 power on them. So when you attack or aggressively or defensively combo, you have a power there on the side. The All-Stars do often have 0 or just 5k, where some of your vanillas are going to have the 10k power instead. So definitely keep that in mind. But really quickly, just going through these, we have our 10k 3-drop. We have a, well, actually, I'm going to put those to the side so I can pull up the SRs later. We have our 30k 10. So we got 4 of those. We have a 1-drop 10k 15, and again, you'll see a lot of this repeated. Like, it's a 1-drop 10k defensive 15 power, right? That's going to be repeated a lot in the starter decks themselves. So coming up to our first one, and again, this is something that we're going to be seeing quite a bit of in the first set. When attacking, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. So again, that's that self-awakening ability. We talked about this in the red video. I'm going to talk about it in the other videos. I'm literally just recording these in order. But that whole self-awakening part is going to be a key factor in how these decks are being built, as well as if you're at a point where you just don't need the self-awakener anymore, of course, you can always just put it into your energy. So it's never a fully dead card, which is something that I really like about Dragon Ball Super. Well, I guess I should say Masters and Fusion World. It's like every single card you have a decision point that you can make in terms of, okay, is it energy? Do I still want this for defense? Is the effect matter anymore, right? And just having kind of that like 3 different decision points you can make with every single card does add a lot of depth to the game. And then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 2 or less and return it to its owner's hand. So this is just going to be your typical bounce. And this is really strong for the early, blockers and just making sure you can get in that damage. But again, we do have that. It is going to add a card from your life to your hand. And then if you have 7 or fewer, right? So you do have to be a little bit tricky with what your hand count is at and make sure that that life doesn't put you to 8, right? Something of that nature. But once you get more games with it, you'll definitely get more comfortable with those types of effects. Then we have another Gohan. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card gets plus 15k power during your turn. 35k attacker, very strong and just getting some nice battle points. Breaks in the starter deck format, but ultimately is something that will likely get moved out for other effects. Only 2 of those. We have our Trunks Youth, which, as I mentioned, Trunks Youth is a card type that appeared earlier on. This is something you're going to still want to play. On play, draw 1 card. So turn 1, you play it, you draw a card. Later on, you can combo it away for 5k, and then the 4-drop, right, lets you get it back. You can play it again, combo it again. Maybe you just want it for a 5k block. So lots of recycling too that you can pull off with this deck. We have 4 of those. Trunks Youth, again, your turn, 7 or fewer, it gets 10k power. And then on play, add 1 card from your life to your hand. So again, with that self-awakening ability, but also a 10k blocker. Then we have Videl, which is our super combo. Again, this is something that you will see in, Vanguard or other like shield or defensive types games where there is a limitation on how many you can include in your deck, but it is a very strong defensive card where if you can combo with it defensively, it's going to give 20k instead of that 10k. So very good for stopping a boosted up attack. Piccolo, 7 or fewer, add up to 1 extra card from your drop to your hand. So really just nice, event recursion. It is any extra from your drop as well, so it's not like cost restricted. So I really like this with Sinister Sickle, I think is the name of the card from set 1, if I remember correctly. Just more bouncing and removal type of effects. And it's also nice that it has a 20k, so we can freely attack into their Awakened Leader and still threaten a card out of their hand. So really, really nice card. I do like that one quite a bit. Moving on to our blockers. So similar to Digimon and One Piece, right? We do have cards that only can block if they have this blocker tech. So this is really important for setting up your early turns, and especially if you have a battle card that's on the field that you want to make sure can survive, or your opponent has to put a lot of resources into it, definitely keep a blocker around to keep it safe. But those are pretty straightforward. And then last but not least, we have our Majin Buu. There he is with our 10k defense as well and 20k. Love that little guy for real. Moving on to our event cards or extra cards. I'm going to keep calling them events because clearly I have One Piece on the brain. Gallic Gun, so activate battle, choose your leader up to 1 battle card, gets 15k power. So as I mentioned in the red starter deck as well, this is an effect that we have seen time and time again, and we'll see in every color. And then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1. So I do like that this is just a, let me get that right back center. I do like that this is just a self-cycler as well as declining or denying your opponent the ability to really get that swing in what they want it to. And then we have Final Flash. So 7 or less, reduce the card hand by 1. So again, that kind of cheat and event cost by 1. Then discard a card from your hand. Choose up to 1 of your opponent battle cards with a cost of 5 or less and place at the bottom of its owner's deck. So yes, it does cost 2, unless you already have that condition, which, hopefully you are because you are playing a, blue deck that wants to be doing it. We do also have the option where it can help us get rid of a card if we need to, right? To go down to it. So maybe we have to pay 2, but then we can go down to a 7 or less for something else during that turn, which can be really important. And then again, just having the ability to bottom deck something, and this one's a 5 cost or less, is very, very strong. So as I mentioned early on, there is also a pack that comes in each starter deck. So let me get these off to the side really quick. Let me get these again so you can see the side-by-side comparison. And yes, the SRs will come full art as well, which is really nice. So up first, we're going to have Gotenks. And then again, I just have them sleeved up. I actually got both SRs, which is really nice. There you can see the full art foiling. And again, it is a flat foiling. These aren't textured as much. Like you can see here, it has like a little bit of texturing. Or no, you can't see because the camera's not going to pick it up, I guess. That's fine. You do see a little bit of the texture in the background, but then otherwise just really nice to have the text box removed. And of course, like the white flex at the bottom for the new labeling is clean. And then of course, just the rarity stamp to let you know that it is a alt art as if it wasn't obvious. And then of course, we have Vegeta as well. So I'm going to get those put up there. So again, nice to see them side by side. I really don't mind like the semi-transparent black text boxes, all things considered, but I do think the full arts look absolutely gorgeous. And if you want to hunt these down, absolutely feel free to do so. And we'll have to just wait and see what pricing comes out to be. I did look at some of the Japan pricing so far, and Destructive Strength is at $15, but that seemed to be the most expensive one because that's most likely going to see the most play in set 1. But, your mileage may vary, and we'll have to see how many starter decks actually get out there. So last but not least, we have here an example list that went undefeated at a Japan Locals. Again, these are day 1 lists, and you'll see a lot of these are going to be very heavy on the starter deck focus, but they do have some set 1 cards as well, right? Really playing into that 7 cost or less strategy and going all in on these super rares from the starter deck, getting to a full play set of 4 each, as well as some interesting choices from the set 1, again, as well as that Sinister Sickle kind of appearing there in the background, which is something that I am a huge fan of. So with that, that is our FS02 or Vegeta starter deck out of the way. Again, leading up to the launch, I'm going to have a new video every day for the starter deck. So we're going to release one each day. And I might be getting a case. If you've been following the news, it's who knows if we're getting a case or not. But if I have a case opening, I will be doing a case opening hopefully Wednesday or Thursday next week because I partner with my local game shop for a lot of stuff. I post all the demos, all that stuff, what have you. So hopefully we can get the more information about the ratios out there, how many, what comes in a box, how many alt arts, how many leaders, all that good stuff. So definitely make sure to subscribe for future Fusion World content. And like I mentioned, I will be very excited for the digital client as well. And hopefully some in-person play picks up, but at worst, I do have the digital client to look forward to. So with that, my friends, stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.